Trying to pledge starting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Schulte here. Mr. Jones here. Mr. Mellors here. Mr. Moore here. I am here. Mr. Schulte said he plans to head up to the hospital an invitation to discuss the ambulance garage, potentially ambulance garage too. First we'll look at our agenda for today, November 12th.
Are there any changes? Make a motion on the agenda. Second.
Schulte, support from Jones. Further discussion? All those in favor of the agenda, signify with aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, next we would look at our minutes from our last meeting, October 22nd. What happened to them now? Support that. Motion to approve the minutes from Mr. Mellors, support from Mr. Mellors. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Next item is discuss beaver bounty.
Nick? I'm all for it, but anybody else got any input?
I am too. I would too. Countywide.
Yep.
Countywide.
But as long as,
Right.
where was it where they had to sign the oath? The person that, which one of those companies got that?
Deciding in favor of the Hinton County approach, specific to drainage district. I think they're the ones most benefited from it. And the drainage district is paying within the drainage district, and I'm not sure why the whole county would pay for other areas then.
How about the areas where there's no drainage district?
Yeah. Either individuals affected by it, they have the ability to address that issue privately. It's a private land issue at that point. My opinion.
Yeah, well, one of them said that,
I like to say,
they end up getting into the drainage districts if we don't control it.
I like the way Sac County, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I think you need the verification of where it occurred, but
Yeah.
Is that a motion?
Can be, yes it is.
further discussion?
So approve House Sac County residents, $40 drainage and $35 outside of drainage district.
But they have to sign everything, verify location.
I'm not sure what the benefit is to taxpayers that are paying towards that when it's outside drainage districts. But that being said, any further discussion? All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Aye.
No, that's yearly, that's what that is. That's the letters down all the time.
Suppose we can have ours in the month.
So do we need to call Sac County to see then what their verification form looks like? And are they verifying it at Nick's office, whose office?
Your office.
I think Rachel's office would be good. Make them bring a tail.
Oh, great, thanks.
Put it in the Ziploc.
I can remember when I was little, I brought gopher feed, dumped them on the counter. They might have been half rotten.
But they got them.
Just put it in a jar with a whole bunch of salt.
starts off on the department head, fund auditor.
Got through the city election, great, everything went, for the most part, went really good. We had 16.5% turnout, which was pretty common to a normal city election. Last city of Sibley's turnout 2 years ago was 24.5%, but we had that bond issue for the pool, so that went up. The pool, 2 years ago, we had 4% turnout, so 16.5 was pretty good, I thought, so everything went good. We have auditors here right now, so getting all that stuff done, and it's going good for the most part.
Hello.
Attorney.
So, supposedly kind of more of a low-key last month or so, getting back in the swing of things after having been gone for a little bit. First day back, we did finally get around to having a sentencing hearing for Kurt Cry, so that brought to a conclusion a pretty major case for our office, the sheriff's office, the AGs who was helping us out. We're all glad we got the resolution we wanted, and glad everyone can kind of move forward with their lives, et cetera. Aaron and I have been working on figuring out where we're going to go in terms of direction on kind of the future of getting the salary average paving project completed. We've worked a little bit on that. Had ourselves a fairly busy day in magistrate court this morning, and really busy motion day last week. Didn't actually have juvenile court date for the first time in quite some time, just because of what the schedule looked like, and didn't have a whole lot of contested hearings on the calendar, so I assume that next month's juvenile court date will be pretty full. But besides that, that's pretty much all I have.
So, sir.
Well, I've been here for a few months, so bringing you up to speed, of course, fall and winter is our busy time. So we've driven the county, by every farm place, quite a few driveways are in rough shape, you know, we had that wet spring and roads were tough too, but the driveways are in rough shape. May or may not be our transmission problem, I don't know. Got the building permits for several towns, checked over, we got some callbacks that we're working on. August we were issued multi-res, tentative multi-res orders. Protested those, and those got removed. I've been to my state school, and Mike's been to the VCS school. And then Schneider was here on site a couple days. So I finally got to meet Marty, he's my support person from Schneider. And Ryan is leaving. He's going to work for Polk County, VCS person in Polk County. So won't have Ryan around anymore. And then if you haven't been on the website lately, I encourage you to keep checking that. We keep enhancing that. We have a wind tower layer now, a building on leased land layer, the city council wards, we have a layer for that, school district boundaries, supervisor districts, districts are on there, and drainage, which is going to be a work in progress. And then we do have the whole site all mapped, but that's not live. So we wanted to see what that looks like. I can show you that.
We just completed some work in the jails. We had some bunk beds in there, and we had them cut down so they're at the low level, like 18 inches. So always concerned about somebody rolling off the top bunk and getting injured. And we've completed the flooring in there in the kitchen and the laundry area. The new flooring has been put down. Like Nolan mentioned, that case, we'll be transporting that individual to Sioux City tomorrow, and he'll get on a prison bus and be taken to prison. So we'll be doing that tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, it just goes in cycles, and business has been good.
Our recorder.
Just busy with documents and a lot of vitals because of the new DOT requirements for the driver's license, so keeps us busy all day. Phone calls, letters, people coming in, so pretty much it.
Conservation.
Getting things ready for winter. We, experienced our first snow, I guess, last week, which was not really appreciated by us, I guess. I don't know about anybody else, but we really weren't a fan. So with that comes winterizing bathrooms and spray tanks and equipment and that type of thing. So got all that stuff done. We've been mulching tea leaves and trying to get things wrapped up a little bit.
My wife wanted to thank you for Matt and his program you did at school and your bonfires that you helped out with.
Oh.
That was greatly appreciated. You guys, and Matt did a wonderful job, she said, so.
Awesome.
Pass that along.
I will do that.
Yeah, well, yeah, winter got us a little early this year. Yeah, I'm voting with you on that one. I had pretty big plans, but I got cut a little short. But that's what we're really focused on right now, is getting ready for winter. We had been waiting on some more salt too, and they finally came this weekend when it got really cold. But we're mixing that up, putting on underbodies, doing all that kind of thing. Prior to the freeze up though, we were kind of working hard at maintaining, getting the gravel roads ready, also mowing, getting all that completed. We did a lot of culvert work in the last month, on different roads, paved and gravel. Did a little bit of spraying this fall. We wanted to do more, but we ran out of time. And so, we did some shouldering on some of the paved roads as well, done by accident up around here, ditch cleaning, some driveway work, the normal stuff. Did a lot of bridge repair work, to help freeze up here, and continuing with that as much as we can. We might hopefully get another little Indian summer stint here, we get some more stuff done, but that's what I'm praying for. Again, like I mentioned last time too, I'll be gone over kind of that Thanksgiving time frame there, that week of and that week after. Most of those weeks I'll be gone in Florida with the family. And also some really good news, I guess. Osceola County was the recipient of the Iowa County's paving program award for our large paving job. And so we can send 2 or 3 people there.
Hold on the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I know. So they issued 2, one for Eastern Iowa and one for Western Iowa, and we were the recipient for Western Iowa.
Good recognition.
Yeah, good recognition for the county. It was, I think, a very successful project overall. And, Tyler Avenue, that's a whole nother story. Grading project's complete. They actually did the base construction for the paving contract, but paving is on hold and likely so for the duration. We also got that area done over by Melvin with the, some other maintenance work there that we did, paving there. Just working still with FEMA and the state on a lot of stuff, and not being easy to deal with, but we're working on it. As well as the design for this bridge over by on the outside of Sibley that we did get funding for. That's been high priority, and we're moving that along for a letting next summer is what our goal is right now. Yeah, any other questions?
Tell Mike, thank you. Look at that gravel right away.
Oh, no problem. Over by the bridges there, where they're settling the hog manure falling?
You got the guy's name, it's on McKinley Avenue.
Yep. There'll be a lot of maintenance once the frost comes out, a little bit. No problem, but thank you though.
For department heads, or everybody excited to get at the goodies that Rich showed you on here?
They're good, I already tried one.
Tested and approved.
There's peanut butter M&M bars or buttermilk brownies.
Oh my.
Take one of each.
No calories?
No calories.
Well, 0 calories.
Zero.
Negative calories.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, that's like health food. Sounds like it. Peanut butter's good for you.
Remove the agenda item, consider transfer of Hawkeye Point camping fees to Hawkeye Point Foundation.
$20 worth of this year.
So $7,224. So far, year-to-date, this fiscal year is $4,640, and last year, from January to June, $2,584.
Yep.
Am I right? $7,224.
Hey.
Was that the intention to provide that blanket, or I guess I thought we were just setting it aside.
We gotta move it in there, cause we've got all these recurring fees for the webcam and all this other stuff, that's gonna be a perpetual bills.
So there's normal bills coming in.
That we didn't
To
have
the
before.
foundation?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, I guess my thought would be that the request would come in for the allotted number of dollars that are needed, and then
And
this is the part.
we'd be doing this every month.
And there's no,
And that's nothing like,
there's no maintenance expense.
no.
They can just pay for it,
Right, the conservation department's being able to upkeep, winterization, things like that, so some of those fees,
But all the improvements and everything, they're getting done with that camp. They gotta put in some new water lines and whatnot, and then we got that drop off for,
Grangeman Shelter House deal.
yeah, the David Shelter House. Making a lot of improvements.
so this is just an annual consideration, transferring that money then?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, well, I can support that this year, in the future, if those are done, I guess I'd like to, know that there's still opportunities to use it elsewhere, so, makes sense. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve transferring those funds to Hockett.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of that transfer, signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Six. Credit card policy. Let Rochelle just threw together, didn't get much time to talk to you, we were worried about. Our insurers identified a few different areas that they'd like addressed, this is one of them, Rochelle gave an extensive thought.
I didn't make it to Canada this year.
Which cards do we take, Michelle?
Visa, it's just the treasurer's office, they're the only one that takes credit cards.
Okay.
And see, we also had one, somebody made an ambulance payment with their cafeteria card, so that's, you had to do that through the treasurer's office too. So, just kind of policy to have in place that's fraudulent and,
So Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, or?
I think it's just Visa and MasterCard, I don't think they do Discover, I don't think. I'm gonna go ask Becky to confirm that.
Don't they charge over there to take a credit card? Yeah, something like that.
Or the county doesn't pay the transaction fee. They don't say 3%.
That's what most normal credit cards, for 3 to 4%. It should be.
They do take Discover, and somebody has a PayPal account, they can do it through that too.
They charge still less than 3 or 4%.
Yeah, yeah, then I think it's $30. See if there's, insufficient.
As far as taking a credit card, they do charge.
Yeah.
Were you happy with this policy?
I was, and Nolan looked it over too, so we'll get it from O'Brien County.
I make a motion to accept the policy.
Jones, support from Helmers to approve the credit card policy. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify with aye. All those opposed, same sign. And we have to go on to the next one.
We can skip it.
We have to be done by 1:30, on 1:30 that was it. Well, it's a constant state of flux. Today, Dickinson County also voted to withdraw from the region. Our last meeting 3 weeks ago as a region, O'Brien County came and presented their letter of withdrawal. My biggest issues with it are, nowhere did O'Brien County or Dickinson County identify specific issues with the region or things they would like addressed, or anyway, ways for the region to address concerns. between meetings, they start discussions and come to votes and they inform us that they're withdrawing. I'm not saying the region's perfect, I'm not saying that we can't deal with issues that would have been identified if they had been identified. It's just frustrating to see the landscape changing that much and drastically without even having discussions at the regional level, so.
So we're down to 3 of us?
The remaining counties would be Palo Alto, Clay, and us, yes.
Do you think part of the reason they are doing it is they think that you've made that comment yourself, the end is inevitable anyway?
Dickens and County certainly seem to indicate that,
I
but.
did talk to the Bryan County guys, and that was kind of what this was.
But it's not any better switch in the Sioux Rivers. It's the same financial situation we're in currently there. So I mean, you're not changing circumstances.
That wasn't the whole brief.
Yeah.
That comment was brought up.
And I don't know why that doesn't get discussed at the regional level, if that's the concern. I don't know why they just exit to a region similarly situated.
Sorry to interrupt, just Jerry, you mentioned the end, are you talking about like a probable future in which there aren't any regions and it's all statewide, or?
No, there will eventually be a,
Levy capacities are not.
yeah, right, the Northwest Iowa level,
That would
saying
be
it's being
the
county or city, statewide.
Okay, I got you.
The real frustration to me with that is in January, I and others identified, this is not a good outlook. As a region, as a whole, looking at this year's budget, that they were members of. We said, do we increase our levy? No, we just want to take it small steps at a time rather than, well, you've made a choice to limit our sustainability by stacking it in the way we have. And now they're saying, well, we're not financially viable over the course of a number of years, so we need to leave. We're exactly where you positioned us to be. You were a member that participated in that. Both O'Brien and Dickinson County voted against increasing their levies above what the region has done this year, which directly impacts what we have available and how many years we're viable.
I haven't been in any of the meetings, and I really haven't discussed it. Is there advantages? I mean, as far as the care, Jason, or?
Same providers, so.
I passed out this, I think the last page of the handout stapled together, I passed it around, I didn't put it in the folder, sorry. I think that's, and this is provided by our CEO, I don't think there's any sort of effort to make it look rosier or worse or on anybody, it's just comparing services, and this is where we stand. I think our region is ahead of the game on a few areas that Sioux Rivers is now venturing into, so you're going backwards there. Yeah, I don't think.
Did anybody else get a call from Sioux Rivers? Yeah. I never returned a call, I never got back to it because it was always late. Did anybody return their call? What was like, any comments or?
Just feeling out where
we're at?
Like I said, there's no financial benefit to us, in my opinion, to switch over to C. It's the same exact circumstance with the exact same people that just left the region, they just moved over to a different set of management. Essentially, I guess is how I view it. But I think Rolling Hills for us would probably be, from a financial standpoint, a better option. That's also just my opinion, but.
It's being explored. I'm gonna sit in on a call at 2:30 with the CEO of Rolling Hills region. That would require Clay to participate in Rolling Hills for us to have that opportunity. Otherwise, we're basically gonna be forced into. Whatever Clay does is our last option. That's something other than Sioux Rivers now at this point. Both counties have alluded to a distaste or a dislike to the thought of expanding to the east. That's fine, I understand that. It's not my first choice, but our 2080 allows counties to request to join our region, so I don't want to, from the face of it, just say, yeah, we're not going to consider you. It's inconsistent with what we've identified we would do. And the process plays out, that if the governance board recommends expansion to with other counties, it comes to every individual member county. So for them to choose to withdraw because they're worried it might expand to the east, I think is pretty weak and frustrating. And I guess at this point, if I knew two of our members were to the level of wanting to withdraw if we expanded to the east, as a governance board member, I wouldn't even make the recommend or vote to send it to the counties to vote on if we're gonna face losing counties over it. So, our county attorney and I have a different opinion on where the region or some players in the region stand on it, and I guess I just don't see that there's really been a driving force or a push to accept those counties. They've asked, I'm willing to consider it. At this point, we've said we need to see that you're not gonna be indebted to your previous region or any other way, and we've not been given a clear picture of that, so to me, it's a no-go at this point because they haven't done that. But
What region of the county to the east in right now?
CSS, County Social Services, which Emmett is as well, also the county that wants to join us at orphans Emmett, and that's another issue that I would have a hard time forcing on a county that's not asking to move.
Because we're gonna be the Emmett County in this scenario,
Yeah,
potentially.
like that, yeah.
Yes. I put on my 2 cents.
There's a lot of information here. I think our CEO provided some helpful stuff. It's all such a moving target that it's hard to really easily and quickly make sense of it, but I think this is all helpful information, and it's frustrating to me is the region that's being considered moving to never comes in with any of this, or how their projections look, or why they're at an advantage. And I'm not trying to discredit them, it's not that, it's just, I don't think we're just making a pitch, we're just trying to give them solid information and what you should base the decision on, and I don't see that as much from the entity that people seem to want to jump to.
What was Dickinson's? Did they give you any reason? I mean, I'm not questioning you, Jason, I'm just thinking, what are we missing?
I'll gladly talk to
You know.
you at more length, and I'm not trying to, I think at some level, if we can not have this on the record, on papers, I think there's staffing issues in play. I don't want to get into
All right, well, I just,
an open meeting where we should have had closed session as an option, but I think there is significant movement within each county that, I wouldn't have been afraid to tackle at a governance board level had it been brought there or allowed to be dealt with there. To me, it's difficult to see changes of this level take place when it's not allowed.
Kevin, I'd like to say something about that. I think that, just to throw my 2 cents in kind of a similar note to what Jason was saying, I think that Jason and I have slightly different opinions about frustrations, and Jason has a good assessment, I think, of what it looks like at board level, multiple county level, as to why people are frustrated. Well, I think Jason and I would probably be in agreement, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are just now that Dickinson has left under these circumstances, it seems that there's something of a pattern emerging in which people don't want to truly discuss why they're leaving our region. And I won't speak in specifics about it right now because I think it would be unfair to some of the personnel involved. But I think it is fair to say in a public meeting right now that there are multiple counties who have left our region who did not explain specifically and completely what their frustrations were. And those frustrations may have been personnel-based at the regional level. And I share Jason's frustration that people take decisions such as these that are as momentous as they are, and that we occasionally don't get a full accounting of why this happens, especially considering that we sit in these boardrooms and we talk about our frustrations, many of which are valid, and then the decisions we take have some very concrete effects on people's lives and our ability to provide services at a point at which we're already dealing with a very scarce pie. It's not going to get any bigger, it's not going to get any better. And now we're having people jumping off the ship, and it's reversing a lot of the gains I think we've made. So that's, I think, a shared source of frustration for a lot of people involved in this, and we don't quite know how to reverse that issue right now. Is that a fair way to describe it?
I kind of get what you're saying there.
And I don't quite know how to make it better, to be clear, at this point.
And I'm not wanting this to be sour grapes or resentment-based or anything, but at this point, having seen what I've seen and what we've been through, the county, I think Three Rivers is a very viable region for us and makes sense. But knowing that the three counties that left us without ever having a substantive and true discussion at the regional level are now members of that region, I have a real hard time moving into that region and believing that we're all working together for the good of the region, and so, yeah, I'm admitting my bias, I'm not trying to sway based upon that, but I think it's valid and then open to hearing why we should look beyond that or why we shouldn't consider that. And I think Rolling Hills being an option is absolutely worth considering at this point, and it's not just a knee-jerk reaction to, well, let's avoid that one. But
from a financial standpoint, like I said before, it doesn't make any sense to just stay in the same situation by making a lateral move over to Sioux. If we can better our situation by going to Rolling Hills, I think it would make sense to look into what the financial situation is down there, because we're not carrying any debt or anything at the moment. So, and the levy rate is a little higher, so we may be able to cover some more things. But it'll be a much larger pie of counties.
But I don't see our providers going away.
No.
It's not that we now have to utilize providers further away from us. It's just that as regional participation, those providers are working through a different region that we're still a part of. That's my understanding. There's no guarantees, no absolutes, but
I think the caveat I would add to that, and it's not necessarily to say you're wrong, Jason, because at any time you have a reshuffling of who's in what region, if you're sharing providers, there might be some access issues. And those are all sorts of things that become difficult to quantify because we may have the same contractual arrangements, but in terms of how things shake out with access, and I'm not just talking about the Clay County Hospital, but that certainly is an example of investigation and things we've looked into. If we've got this resorting of who's in what county, and it's more complicated than just two regions, and it's 3 or 4 regions that we're talking about, where the number of counties in each region is changing, then we could see some access issues on a practical level, and what those are really difficult to predict. So again, I don't have a whole lot of great answers, I'm sorry, but I think that it's a bad situation we're in.
currently our region, all 3 regions have contracts across lines and work within each region, and so I don't see that completely disappearing or becoming, something that.
Seasons providing services to Sioux Rivers, they're providing services to us, they're providing services to Rolling Hills.
Yeah, and I think you're right about the access in terms of what's contractually there, but, I'll just say it, and I'll probably catch some heat from Seasons later. We have had our issues with access with Seasons, and that's just the tip of the iceberg sort of thing. I don't want to get into it.
Just because of who we are.
And I think it's because of who we are, but it's also because of who Seasons is, and I'll just say it plainly. How they're organized and what they do, and Seasons does a lot of great things for us, and do a lot of great things for our region, do a lot of great things for other regions they're involved in. That much is beyond doubt, but the reality is that sometimes we don't get what the contract says we can have, and sometimes there are good reasons for that. Sometimes we don't agree with what the reasons are, and sometimes we're in the middle. And we're in a situation in which the people who are involved are shuffling in terms of who's where. I don't think we can assume that it will be the same. What it will be, we don't quite know.
I think we're kind of stuck because we're running out of providers.
And we're also in a situation where which region we can join at what time might be shifting.
And since because there isn't anybody to fill any big gaps, so, you're stuck with basically Jackson Recovery and Seasons, and they're both in the same cash strap situation for viability.
Yep.
And it doesn't really change the picture a whole lot going one way or the other.
Seasons is a stack of cars deep in a mile line, and that's the way their service providing model is set up. And in a region like ours, in an area like ours, there's a lot of positives to doing that. Reality is that it doesn't take a rocket science to see the drawbacks in that, especially when they're stretched thin across a number of counties. And you were talking about how we might be in a similar situation if we went to Sioux Rivers financially. I think I would probably substantially agree with that. There certainly will be some differences, how big they are, how consequential they are. I'm not sure. I know that Sioux Rivers had discussions about acquiring some property that would be used to provide services. I'm not sure where they're at with that. I'm not sure how that would affect the financial picture.
They just signed Sioux Rivers just signed new contracts with Seasons for services.
Right.
So I'm like, what's changing for you there? I mean, really nothing.
Really nothing. I don't know what that contract says. I would assume it's probably the same one, but.
Nothing fixes whatever issues we've got with that group, because there's nobody else wants to step in and take that program over.
Right, with regard to that, I agree with you. If there's something else that Sioux Rivers can provide, maybe in terms of inpatient, maybe that's different.
I think you'd have more likelihood of that with Rolling Hills, just because of the size. You may have to travel a little further for that service.
Yeah.
But that does get you access to Woodbury County services.
Yeah. And geographically, you know, we're a place where Sioux City, Sioux Falls, you know, we have the Avera contract. I don't think that would have to change if we went to Rolling Hills, or Sioux Rivers, I'm sorry.
Technically, Avera has a contract with Northwest Iowa Care Connection. It's the only region that they've contracted with, and they've indicated they don't want to expand that to additional regions.
So there's something.
They have allowed Lyon County with their switch of regions to continue, they will honor that contract with Lyon County, but my understanding is it does not extend to Sioux Rivers region. I would think, and it's been said in Dickinson County that they would still have that access because they're currently a member county in that agreement. I would hope, or we would need to research and make sure that that would apply to Osceola County if we were to move elsewhere. That is something we would not want to see go by the wayside.
No.
We are past 1:30. I don't believe anyone here is specifically for the canvass of the elections. Can we wrap up this discussion before we move into that, or do you want to do canvass and come back?
I just come back with some more info and,
Yeah, but basically,
yeah,
wait and see, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, there's no decision to be made on it anyway.
And, sorry, were you guys gonna, I got a question, were you guys gonna talk about the beaver bounty before?
That was the first thing.
That was the first thing, all right, none of that, all right, you guys have a good one.
Thanks for your insight.
Hey, absolutely, no problem, thank you all. You guys have a good one.
You too.
Thank you all. Anybody need anything for this guy?
No. You know, I realize we have to do this, but technically, what can we do with that?
Yeah.
Nothing. See the road is, but.
They had 3 seats up, 1 ran and 2 were write-ins. So if the two write-ins don't want it, then they have to resign to the city clerk, and then the next person gets it. Oh, yeah, there's two of them there. So hopefully that won't happen, but it could happen.
That's okay, well, that would be in at a certain time.
They have to be in by, they have to be mailed the day before the election, and they have to be in by noon today.
Well, this is a good social effort.
So if it takes 5, 10 days to come, that's no matter.
Nope, don't matter, we have to, we got the mail on Saturday, we got the mail early today, didn't show up, so, no, they can't be counted anymore. What's it change the outcome of anything, at least the school board is going to be, so everybody, yeah.
Can I get a stamp with my name on it?
But everybody's wishing they had that right now. I don't know, I mean, we haven't heard anything negative about people not knowing where to go. Have you guys heard any complaints or anything out there or anything?
I think it's actually better.
Yeah. It's better for
Especially
the,
like for down
yeah,
in Malibu.
Yeah. everything's all,
Yep.
and everybody knows where they're going, which is better for everybody.
What's that, I haven't heard any complaints.
That's good. And then we have to do a post audit, and that has to be done on Thursday, we're doing that, so. City of, or Ocean precinct, we do a post audit for.
He's doing a particular order.
I think she has them by city order.
You're still all right.
If not,
Second bunch of them down.
well, I don't think it really matters.
It was 2 years,
Yep. Unfortunately, the cost was a lot.
How much was it for those?
$14.31.
Should I missed it by $2? I thought it was 16 something.
Well, city will reimburse or pay for that.
Yeah, they pay for all of it. The total cost was $10,146.59.
So it's much the same, 14 what?
14 something.
okay? Any news?
Maybe because I didn't get your calculator.
Well, I'm waiting for my.
Yeah.
You can't cheat the tender signature in this deal, it's great.
You could.
$14.68 per voter, the cost. I think it would cost quite that much, but
You get used to having a short signature.
Herself, I missed Lucas signing.
we're lucky, we only have to have one tier canvas. O'Brien, Dickinson, Sioux, Lionel, I have to have 2 tiers, so all our information, like for George Little Rock, HMS, Dickinson County, then they have to have another election for everybody, for all the other counties, another tier of canvas. Because we have to canvas our votes first for our county, so then they have to combine all the other, for this one, for these individuals, so they have to have 2 tiers, so there's 2 canvases, we only have to have 1. I'm very thankful for. I think we have to have that next week. Sure, county, Orange County, they're the controlling of few counties, still the OT knows outside our boundaries, and very few counties have that, we're rare, and I appreciate that.
Jason, Waterloo, what was the meeting with, Joe, Aaron the other day, and
Oh, they had, scheduled a meeting for a pre-tour of the railroad there. And, yeah, weather permitting, the construction company is kind of hoping to do some.
was there any negotiation on the penalty or anything, or was there any talk about that, or?
Yeah, there was.
I talked at length after we did the attorney and engineer, I'd encourage you to talk to
Okay.
the engineer, either for county or Schulfeld on that issue. There will be one yet, but when and how it might be.
Well,
We're having
I don't even know where I read it, but maybe it was some information sent out.
Yeah, I mentioned even
The way I got gathered it, that they didn't want to pay the. Well,
I'm putting it on the agenda in 2 weeks.
Okay.
An update, and we can discuss it further.
Okay.
I would encourage you to get some of that background information.
well, I don't need any background information. I know what I think. I shouldn't say it like that. I get real tired of the weather calling.
You know, this one got turned back, sorry.
I got a lot of rain with 2 middle names.
It'll laugh fast. Gonna say, can you read it?
Somebody's trying to hold information or touch, and then there's a regional issue.
It's not worth getting something
Staffing
done that,
issues.
yeah, cause more problems down the road.
It's an open book, I'm trying to
Well,
get a little cautious.
Who got this?
well, but nothing's really decided right now.
My three votes, 3, Friday at 5 o'clock is the deadline for any recount.
That was, so we had 2 good people there.
My daughter's friends with her daughter, and I came home having looked at it, and she lost, so I tell them that, and she comes back and like, she won, what are you talking about? You're wrong.
Yeah, that was close.
That's a very close race. Maybe quick.
I voted for one, and my wife. Just go stay home.
I know, seeing my wife a little scared, my wife's still here, it carries more weight.
It's the same.
Not this election, but.
We can have one vote, I still. That seems to happen pretty regular.
The more levies be going up next year, that'd be a thing. More levies.
Oh, yeah, it's been,
I mean, they have to, but it really won't go.
yeah, we're actually aiming to go to our max. Yes, we want to be sustainable. I'd be okay with targeting basically zeroing that all down at the end of the fiscal year, for 2022.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna be a little less.
Wait till we go through all the county elections, too. We should all have a stand. I do too.
We can make that happen.
Oh, yeah?
We can. Just need
Really?
signatures. Yeah. I got mine from, anyway, I got mine from Arlen. Just have to sign a piece of paper and you can get a stamp for it.
Free?
Oh.
Thanks.
They are not.
No,
No, they're not, they're not.
They're not bad.
No.
I think I should have one.
Yeah, these will be.
I would think twice, so I'm just lining a stamp up on there, but it's gotta be on the
Yeah.
right spot.
Yeah, that can be an issue too.
You can line up on a whole bunch of pages.
Yeah.
You can find a use for the break.
Or you could have printed it with the signature digitally. guys do claims, I'm going to do.
Is that a motion to approve the canvas and the election
Yes,
costs?
it is.
Second.
One more time, what the cost total?
$146.59.
Yes, you missed.
Motion by Schulte, and support from the board to approve the canvas and the election costs. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approval, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
How you doing?
Anybody else wants to join in, invitation to have representative tag.
Good.
She got later.
What is that, 3 now?
Thanks, Jerry.
My granddaughter came over, can I have a brownie, girl?
And you know, if you make something for school, I automatically will take one out of the corner and say, don't touch this.
Quality control, you're just doing your part.
For sure, you couldn't tell your granddaughter no.
Yeah, like her mother and chocolate.
That's my grandson's birthday.
You're already? Oh my gosh. I bet he likes, combine and all that good stuff.
He hasn't been to combine a whole lot, this has been such a
I
busy
know.
year.
I'm sure if that paper sticks together. So we find one in there.
My grandson, when he's a big brother, that could be, he's gonna handle it very well. I know. Last week, my grandson was naughty, like he was going to the bathroom, taking her potty training, and Caitlin, the dog was all wet. He peed on the dog.
And that'd be the dog with the front.
Yeah.
I wonder where he learned that from.
The dog had to take a bath, and she knocked was in timeout. And then she's looking all over the house to see where, and she couldn't find him, so she knocked out of timeout to tell me where he did it, behind the couch.
The dog didn't run away?
I'm surprised. Him and that dog are really naughty together. Caitlin goes, she calls me, I'm just laughing. It's not right. I don't have to deal with it. Not my problem to deal with.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Pretty frustrating.
Poor dog, I wonder what they do.
Girl, I don't know if that dog cares. If he was loud enough.
Is he 2 already?
Knox is 2, he'll be 3 in March.
Oh, you don't know, yeah.
Were you combining last year, Susan, when he was born?
No, we were all
You're
done.
done?
Yeah, we were all done, we were just talking about that.
Not this year.
Well, we're gonna combine.
Okay.
Acura City's, 230 acres.
Yesterday, one of our neighbors were out too,
Yeah, we did, but it got awful hard.
it don't work very good.
Yeah.
Said the 4-inch soil temp was 27 or something this morning.
Was it 2 days ago, they've done some of those there?
Yeah.
Saturday was nice. See, one of our rubber tips that turn these pages,
Yeah,
it's hard to get a hold of.
if you see that I missed one, just let me know. I caught one for it.
Oh, maybe they just call you back.
No, we're still in this sign. That's probably wouldn't be too hard. Oh, yeah, they're always the same. I know, I know.
real estate contracts, it helps to have a short signature.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's a lot of paperwork.
I think I got them all.
Asbestos and stuff, inspection, penalties, and this,
I don't, we're using like 1,000 or something, wasn't it? 1,000 to 1,000, I was pretty happy with that, you know. We found nothing, no result, or, yeah, that would be better. For sure, I got different results. Take it.
Is Omni Engineering the people paying for it?
What?
Is Omni Engineering the people paving the road?
They paid us something.
I thought you had Schultz on this. These guys must be
It's
doing something
material,
else.
it says, special black,
Just says,
backfill,
just says Omni Engineering, $105,000.
yeah, special backfill wrap.
Okay.
I
So
don't know what
a
that
different,
Yeah.
subcontracted by Robertson.
So are they the ones that put that underlayment in?
Yeah, I think so.
what's an acceptance fee or something?
We have to pay that every time we make a payment to that, we have to pay a $250 fee. Now we got transferred to them, so we have to pay a $300 fee.
Just to move around some money?
Yeah, pretty much, just take our money.
Digitally move around money?
Yeah, they want our money and then every time we make an interest payment or a principal payment, we have to pay a fee.
That's a pretty steep fee.
Yeah. It was always been $250 every time.
So it's not even based on an hour amount, it's just a flat fee.
Yep.
So if it's $10 instead of $300.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeesh.
So it's not those payments as big as 10.
So much fun.
How many days do you incur $300 in interest?
I don't know.
That's
Yeah. I gotta give them a copy or, payment would be up to them. I'm getting quotes to update our website. Stephanie's helping me a lot with it, and I appreciate your help. She's very
Yeah, she said,
knowledgeable on
she's
that.
pretty good.
She is very good at it. She doesn't wanna do it, but she'll help us find the right company that will fit us and, or see where we're at, or, she's been very helpful, and I appreciate that. So, once we get that figured out, we'll have that on the agenda.
She said you were making progress.
Yeah. Very helpful.
Just put in some new lights here in the courthouse.
A while back. Oh, that's the sheriff's office.
Sheriff's office, talked about one in the morning.
So that courthouse one, that's where.
The general basic pays for it, but it comes out of the courthouse. We have a specific line for,
Yeah, jail,
Over
jail,
jail.
training too.
surpluses.
Who's joint number one? Joint two?
Joint one, that one over there was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're joint two and three then too, that's the county also? Okay.
Where's joint two? Yeah.
Here, nine. No, they sent the letter. The number is thousand
Thank you, so it can be reviewed, if you guys mind. On that hole in the trail, John Smith called me yesterday and said that he filled it in yesterday. Or over the weekend or something. That kind of doubtful that we're gonna see the contractor there to do that replacement, so. Guess I would at this point reconsider and see what spring brings. Much to Jerry's chagrin.
I think just what he did was just.
We just need to approve claims. Is that what we're saying?
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, second.
Motion and support to approve the claims as they were presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. Anything further to report? Any other things to weigh on or thoughts on the regional issue that we should keep in mind or bring up while we're talking about rolling hills, or if anything talks about Sioux Rivers, or?
See how long they're financially. Hopefully longer.
Right.
The only thing I had, not about that, was the road, not what I have up here, but.
I would, if we continue our regional status, I would like, since the bylaws are gonna have to be changed, and 2080 is gonna have to be changed, 2080 is gonna change the bylaws so much. I would encourage us to have 2 board members from each county going forward. If we're just gonna be 3, it would make preparation for meetings and stuff more problematic.
Just one, just the first step.
And honestly, I'm frustrated with how little weight the regional representative must carry on its home board anyway. So if we have 2 people, it kind of spreads around, gets a little better pulse on where the individual counties are standing.
Did Clay give any indication how long they wanna ride this out for?
really, I think, just between Barry and I, Barry Anderson plays representative on the board. I think the biggest concern is if we maintain regional status as 3 counties having to hire staff to replace what the Kentucky counties individuals we're providing to the region. And if that's only for a year or 2 years, is it really the route we wanna go? Then do we need to align ourselves with something a little more long range? And again, I don't wanna rush into something, but that's a real concern that he and I are both identified that hiring for a potential short-term solution may not be the route we wanna go, so.
I guess the only thing I'm not really particularly thrilled about is that we kind of depend on however which way Clay goes. We don't border anybody else, anyone else out of the border, just all super. That wasn't very neighborly. Sure, I meant to think of that too.
And maybe that staffing is not a concern, maybe if we do make a switch to join someone else, the staff may very well stay on anyway, just under a different reason, I don't know, but.
The 3 counties in 1 year thing kind of gets.
2 coming this year.
2 and 1 last year.
Yeah, maybe over 2 years now. I think I shared with it, I don't know if I shared with anyone else. Woodbury kind of got constantly thrown under the bus as being the bad player, or why Sioux Rivers couldn't get along. I don't know if there's truth to that or not, whatever, but, had it pointed out to me that the year before Woodbury left Sioux Rivers, Cherokee chose to leave Sioux Rivers for Rolling Hills. So, Sioux Rivers kind of had the same experience that we're now experiencing as Northwest Iowa Carrick Nation, that there was successive exits of their region, and I don't know the specifics, I can only speculate, but it makes me think that maybe they're not all fine and dandy, or, I guess.
Might not hurt to talk to some of the Cherokee guys about their exit strategy.
Rolling Hills was attractive to them at that point, I guess it seems to make it a reasonable thing to consider at this point for us, but.
Because we would have been an option for them, wouldn't we have been?
Northwest Iowa Carrick Connections would have been, I don't think it would be for Woodbury without Cherokee. Cherokee could have. Somewhere, but. Yeah, so.
Motion to adjourn?
Support. Support from Helmers, or adjourn.
I can't.
All those, I do.
Yeah.
Favor of adjourning?